Hi out there in video land, whoever's watching me. I'm Michael Paige. I'm the Dean of the School of Business. First of all, I want to congratulate you on your acceptance to the Gerrish School of Business. I look forward to meeting each of you in the fall when we all start classes. There are a number of things I could do to start this, but let me start off by frankly saying that most undergraduate business programs are pretty much the same. They have to offer the same kind of coursework. So what we're going to talk to you today about is what makes Endicott unique. My colleagues who will be on this talk will be talking about what really makes Endicott special for them. Please remember to use the chat box if you have any, not chat box, chat function, if you have any questions, and we will address these at the end of the presentation. So first off, why Endicott? Well, a number of very independent sources have indicated Endicott as having unique academic and internship experience. Places like the Wall Street Journal have called us out and praised us for our program. We are a teaching college with a proven track record of student employment success. When you graduate from Endicott, you graduate not only with a degree, but with a resume, and you are truly career ready, and the business world knows it. We offer 6 degree programs: accounting, entrepreneurship, finance, international business, management, and marketing. But based on feedback from the industry and from our students, we also offer 15 dual degree programs in any 2 of the above 6 programs. What we discovered is people's interests don't neatly fit within the boundaries of a single degree. We also offer minors in several programs, as well as access to 30 minors across campus. And we have our own 5th-year MBA program. So we have a very, very rich offering. The key to our success, or key to our program, is this flexibility. You begin right away in your freshman year, starting in general business topics. And then you continue that into your sophomore year. I know that the admissions department loves to have you pick one of our 6 majors, but the truth is there's a lot of flexibility, and you can move between majors pretty much at will within the first year or so. Remember also our 3 internships, which are one of the kernel ideas within our program. This is our rogues gallery, our academic team. They're here because they really want to teach, so we are a teaching environment. Their job is really you. And we're going to be talking to 2 of them, or you're going to be listening to 2 of them a little bit later in our presentation. What's important is why they picked Endicott, but also more importantly, why we picked them. We picked them for 2 reasons: great academic credentials, which you can see on this slide, but more importantly, great industrial experience. So they come to Endicott having been in industry, so they can talk to you about what really works, best practices, and what you really can expect on the job. The truth about Endicott is that it's a combination of our knowledge coupled with your student experiences that really makes for a rich and dynamic academic environment. Now I'd like to have you hear from Dean Torrance, talking about more about what's going on within our school. Dean Torrance?
Thank you, Dean Paige. And again, congratulations for being accepted to the Endicott School of Business. Now, this is far from the accepted students day that we had planned, but I'm really glad that you're here. So Dean Paige just spent 2 minutes overviewing some of the unique features of our program that differentiate us from other business programs. How we'd like to spend the rest of our time with you is to show you a slideshow, maybe a virtual tour of the life and times of Gerrish School of Business. And after that, you'll hear from 2 of our esteemed faculty members. And we even have 2 students who not so long ago were in your shoes. Now, I hear that a picture paints 1,000 words, but while we're going through the video, I'd like you to make use of the chat to give your questions. There is no audio to this visual, and I'm going to try not to provide commentary on all of it, but you can see that some of our facilities in the School of Business. And let me say that our experiential learning actually starts within the classroom. That's Michelle, hockey player, Dr. Musakia. Oh, and it's so fun to see our students get their internship of their dreams and really enjoy what they participate in the School of Business or any of the clubs and activities. That's Billy, one of our first Spark Tank winners and now working with Caterpillar. This is one of our signature classrooms, one of our team building rooms that all first-year students will be in. And Kathy Butler is actually one of our internship coordinators that will be working with you. As Dean Paige said, we are here to teach. So even Dean Paige and myself teach in the School of Business. That's actually one of my classrooms. We are very entrepreneurial at the School of Business, very closely associated with the Angle Entrepreneurship Center, and we are globetrotters. We like to experience life outside of Beverly and around the world. We're also student athletes, right? 40% of our student body are self-proclaimed athletes, so we make sure that our schedules are friendly for our student athletes, our student workers, and our folks who like to travel. And these are, you'll see students in their capstone projects. Everybody completes a thesis after their semester-long internship. And these gentlemen are actually addressing 80 industry professionals here on the North Shore. Seth represents one of our student athletes. He actually did his internship in Australia and came back to successfully complete his collegiate career. Now, we could have, in all honesty, done a slideshow of just the internship site that you see on these slides. We could go on and on. So these are internship sites that our students found internships and ultimately employment after school. And we have several clubs and organizations on campus. In the School of Business alone, we have the Marketing Club, the Accounting Club, the Entrepreneurial Club, DECA, our Accounting Club, our Marketing Club, our Charity Craft Club, our Women in Leadership Club, and our Investment Club. And our Investment Club actually invest money of our endowment. And I hear that they do better than our industrial investors, but I won't tell them that. Right, and here we are, the motley crew. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We like to have fun, right? And we are sometimes asked to address our students and to congratulate our students. Now again, we wish we were seeing you in person, but we'll look forward to that for the fall. With the conclusion of the slideshow, I'd actually like to turn it over to Professor Alan Glass.
Thanks, Dean Torrance, and a big congratulations and thank you for everyone who's joining us in our virtual Accepted Students Day session. As Dean Torrance just said, my name is Alan Glass. Within the School of Business, I teach organizational behavior, business analytics, a executive simulation, which is really an experience of what it feels like for our juniors and seniors to be an executive, as well as I have the privilege of walking 15 of our seniors through their year-long or their semester-long internship and their year-long thesis and research process. So given that I only have just a relatively short amount of time with you, I wanted to give you the headline of what the experience was going to be like in the classroom. What's the philosophy behind what we do? And I realized that I wanted to really share with you the reason why I'm at Endicott, which I think is the value of why you want to be at Endicott. Back in 2009, when I was a senior executive, we were scrambling for solutions on how to figure out how to get through the economic downturn. And it was at that time that I was finishing my MBA, and I turned to academia to understand, to seek for solutions. And I realized that there's this complementary value between what it means to be an academic scholar and a practitioner in the field. And I realized that as a practitioner, I need to increase management theory. I need to increase my understanding of management. And as a scholar, I need to make sure that I understand where some of the limitations of theory and implementation of that theory in a practical setting. And I thought, well, that's how I want an academic experience to be like. That's what I want my classroom to be like. And I was thrilled when I found an institution that embraces that same balance. Endicott really is about theoretical knowledge, increasing it, understanding it, and practical student skill building as well. Now, Dean Paige mentioned earlier that your time at Endicott, at the end of your time at Endicott, is really going to be about you walking away with both a degree and a resume. And I hope you begin to understand kind of what that means. It's about that balance of practical skill building and theoretical knowledge kind of married into one experience. Now, how do we know if we're doing a good job? Well, we look at this statistic as a school. 53% of all of our students get their first job at one of their 3 internship sites with us. That stat changes within the School of Business and jumps up to 58%. So we feel like that's the right win for us and for you as an Endicott goal. I'm going to hand things over to Professor McAlister, who's going to continue this process along.
Hi, my name is Anna McAlister. I'm a marketing professor in the business school. And I wanted to talk a little about why I chose to work at Endicott. So I have experience working at large public schools where my class sizes were usually around 300 students per class. And although I did love that experience, what I found was that I really wasn't getting to know my students. It was very difficult to even know their names, let alone know their stories. At Endicott, where our classes are literally capped at 30 students per class and are typically even smaller than that, we really get to know our students, not just seeing their work and grading it and seeing how they're doing in the class, but getting to know them as human beings, right? So knowing who's an athlete, what's going on in their social lives, all of these things, especially getting to know what is going on in their internships, gives us a sense of what the students are interested in, what they're passionate about, and also what they don't like. And so getting to know my students has allowed me, I think, to be a more effective teacher, because in the classroom, I can provide examples that I know are relevant to where someone's part-time job is or where their last internship was, things like this. One of the other experiences I really like, because I'm a research nerd, I love doing research, is offering independent studies to students. So independent study is literally a one-on-one class where one student takes a course with a professor, and the class is all around them and their interests for the semester. Typically, the way that I offer independent study is set up as a research project where the student will help to sort of co-create the topic for the semester. We work on the research design together. The student collects data, they learn how to do data analysis, and we write up that report. And there are some really exciting opportunities for students. For example, last year, one of my students wrote up a research report, and it was actually really high quality. So we submitted to an academic conference. The student attended the conference with me. She presented, and people were really impressed by her research, and many asked her where she was in grad school, because it was assumed that she was a grad student, not an undergraduate student. So I really like that experience of getting to know the students, getting to know what they're passionate about, and then tailoring their experience at Endicott to be something that they really get excited about. Next, you're going to hear from two of our current students, Luke and Fernanda. I'll introduce Luke first. He's going to tell you a little about his experience and why he chose Endicott. Over to you, Luke.
Thank you, Professor McAlister. Hi, everyone. I'm Luke Hawley. I'm from Montpelier, Vermont, and I'm a finance and marketing double major and currently a freshman. So what really caught my attention about Endicott was the way the internship program was incorporated into the business school's curriculum. The way the school emphasizes building your resume and preparing you for when you graduate was the real decision maker for me. And in the classroom, it's really evident that all your courses have purpose in helping you succeed in the real world as well as in your internships. With this, I've already done one of my internships in January, just after a few months of becoming an Endicott student. So in this light, I've already separated myself from some of my other friends who go to other schools because they just haven't had this opportunity. And this just reflects the values that the school has about building your resume, getting that experience, and it's not just in the classroom work, they give it all to you, which I argue is extremely valuable and ultimately the reason why I came here. Now, since being here, what I've learned is the school does a great job of also offering some outside the classroom learning opportunities. They do some of these through speakers or events. There's often many things happening on the weekends, which you can attend mostly for free. And they're a great way to get in contact with certain industries, expose yourself to business leaders, or just connect with people early on, which I've taken advantage of already. And lastly, I just want to mention something that's very important to me. That has been the ability to create really tight-knit relationships with my professors and other students. With the class sizes being so small and the professors themselves, it's been very easy to connect with everyone and build very strong relationships, which makes learning just that much easier. And actually, the first semester, you end up having a lot of the same classes with the same people. So right off the bat, you already have a strong core of peers and people you recognize. So if you need anyone to lean on or just make great friends, you have that. And within the first few days, you already feel part of a strong, proud community and family at Endicott. So with that, I'll turn over to Fernanda, who will talk about her experience.
Thank you, Luke. I'm Fernanda. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I'm a sophomore finance and international business major. And I remember being in your shoes not too long ago. So I want you to recognize that although this process can be rather stressful, it's a special time for you and your family. With that, I want to share kind of my decision-making process. So initially, I received an email from the current tennis coach. And I'm going to be honest, Endicott was not at the top of my list. Now, don't get me wrong. I knew Endicott would offer me the educational experience I wanted and the opportunity to continue my tennis career. But at first I thought, what is a girl from Texas going to do at a small D3 school in Massachusetts? A few months after receiving the email, I decided to give it a shot. So I flew out for my overnight tennis recruiting visit. And clearly my first impression was that the school was beautiful. I mean, you guys have seen the pictures of our campus. But as my overnight went on, I noticed that I felt at home. The sense of community at Endicott is inclusive and sets the school apart from others. At Endicott, you will quickly build lifelong friendships. When you're walking through campus, people hold the door for you and say hi, even if they don't know you. You will always have someone who supports you, whether you need a fellow student or an adult. Students, along with faculty and staff, go out of their way to meet others. Family members and members of the Beverly community go to sports events to support all of our student athletes. And your professors will not only know your name, but your hobbies and your interests. For example, Professor Cohen, who I had for business fundamentals 3 semesters ago, still stops me in the hall to ask how tennis is going. He reads our newsletters and is up to date with our schedule. So all in all, I chose Endicott for its unique and engaging environment that strives to provide the best tools and education to face today's world. And this is why I love being a goal.
Thank you, Fernanda. Now I'd like to turn it over to some questions. And I know that this format is a little awkward and unusual, and normally we're walking around and raising hands. We do have a chat button down here that you can actually type in your questions if you have any. But let me share with you some of our frequently asked questions at sessions like this. The number one question we normally have is, will I get paid for my internship? And the question is, it depends on which internship that you apply for. We have 3 internship coordinators that will be assigned to our students, and they'll work with them throughout the 4 years, identifying industries you're interested in, identifying specific companies or positions. And while not all of them are paid, a lot of them are paid. So it depends on which ones that you go ahead and register for. Now I see that our contact information is up here, and thank you, Alan, for going ahead and putting our contact information right into the chat box. Another question is, can I still study abroad if I'm a dual major? Now, as Dean Paige mentioned, there's kind of some gray lines between majors these days and what employers are looking for. So many of our students opt to double major or dual major, and they can easily do that in 4 years without adding any tuition dollars or anything, unless you're an accounting major. So our accounting majors, they are trying to get to the 150 hours anyway, so that they're going to have some courses maybe in the summer or in the winter to make that up. We do have a question about whether or not we have any internship connections in New York at Endicott, and I'm happy to tell you that we actually have an internship coordinator dedicated to the New York and Connecticut region, and we often take students on field trips, or not to field trips, but to visit companies in those locations. So that internship coordinator in Connecticut and New York, her sole job is to create and develop relationships with employers and educate them about our internship sites. So thank you for that question. Can I do an internship abroad? Yes, we've had our students do internships all over the globe. We've had them do internships in Peru, London, the Philippines, Australia, obviously. So really, the world is your limit. And oftentimes we get a question about how we interplay international business within our curriculum. And I'd have to say that international business is all throughout our curriculum, because there's no such thing as business that's not global anymore these days. So we encourage our students to look for the industries and locations that they want to visit and want to work. And we also work very closely with our study abroad office to find opportunities. What typical classes do you take as a freshman? Luke, would you like to share your response to what type of classes that you take as your first year student?
Sure. So you take, like Dean Paige said, all the same classes with every business student. So you take classes like business fundamentals, which you'll also take your second semester as well. You have a business computers class. I took macroeconomics as well. And then you also have an English class in there too. So your schedule, you usually have about 5 classes. They're all pretty consistent, and the work's all very manageable. When you jump in your first semester, you'll have plenty of time to get around campus, make new friends, but still be able to succeed in the classroom as well.
Thanks, Luke. Those business fundamentals classes that he mentioned are actually designed to expose our first year students to all aspects of business, because, you know, I know they ask you to pick a major as you're coming in, but between you and me, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. So that asking someone who's just starting college what they want to do and to confine themselves to one major is kind of hard. So we give them the opportunity to experience all aspects of business and really try it out before they actually decide what major they want to be in, and we work with them to tailor that major for them. So I have another chat. What would your first year look like if you took college level courses during your senior year of high school? That's a really good question. Tiffany Kung was actually someone in our slideshow, and she came in with a whole semester's worth of classes. And so I worked with her to kind of expedite her college career. She could have graduated in 3.5 years, but when the time came, she did not want to graduate. So what we do is we actually ask you ahead of time what classes that you took during high school, so to make sure that we don't overlap those classes with your freshman year. So we'll give you credit for your AP classes that have the particular score and any college credit, and we'll just move you along. That'll give you flexibility to even double major even easier, or to take on a minor if you want to. So you can expedite it and graduate earlier, or you can expand your education opportunities and add majors and minors to your collegiate career.
Or to stay for a 5th year MBA or last year MBA.
Right. Very good. Thank you. Can I complete my dual major within 4 years? Very easily, you can complete your major in 4 years. We designed the program so that your core business courses are the same for all of your 5 business majors. And so there's 8 specific courses that are unique to each individual major, and it dovetails nicely into the curriculum that you have. You have 4 free electives that we use for that double major. And then, as Luke mentioned, you typically take 5 classes a semester to graduate in 4 years. And I don't know about you, but you know, when my kids are in school, I want a 4-year plan. However, your tuition dollars cover 6 classes a semester. And I believe, Fernanda, you are used to taking 6 classes a semester. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Right. And to Luke's point, it's easily doable within the time frame that you have during the week. And I would plan on 2 to 3 hours of schoolwork for every class that you're taking. Michael, are you calling me? Okay. All right. I'm happy to take other questions. What score do you need on an AP test in high school to receive credit at Endicott? It's actually going to vary by class. So for example, you'll have 1 grade for statistics versus another grade for English. And that would be something that we work with the registrar's office on. Fernanda, did you have experience with your AP classes?
Yes, so actually I took macro and micro in high school. So those AP credits transferred. I think both of those scores you had to get a 4 on, but like Dean Torrance said, they vary based on the classes. So you can actually look them up and see what your score will have to be in order to get credit. but also it's not a big deal if you do or you don't get credit because you can take them here as well.
Yeah. Dan, if you wanted to email me with your specific classes, I'd be happy to give you the answers for your classes that you're taking AP, right? A lot of our students will come in with AP statistics because they would rather not do that their freshman year. But we have peer tutors in almost all of our topics, and those peer tutors are a free resource for all of our students. And typically they've actually taken the same class with the same professors. So it's pretty easy to get someone to help you out, and if you need that, right? One of the questions that we often receive is, how soon do I have to register for the 5th year MBA program? Well, you can let us know as early as you'd like, and we can make sure that you're taking all the courses that you need. In fact, our core curriculum are the courses that you need for the 5th year MBA. But you can also tell us your senior year, right? As you're going along, and it's amazing how many people just say to me, I don't want to leave Endicott. How do I get into the 5th year MBA program? So parents know this isn't a sale for the 5th year MBA program, but it's just a feeling and a emotion that some of our students go through at that last semester of their spring senior year. Right. So Luke and Fernanda, can you think of any questions that might be helpful for them?
Well, I see one of the questions up there is about scheduling classes, even if you're an athlete. And I can kind of tag along with that because I play tennis at Endicott. But it's really not difficult to schedule your classes. I mean, especially the business department is very flexible. So you'll have different time slots. But your coach will probably ask you to take as many morning classes as you can, just because, like, for example, my practices are from 4 to 6. And then we usually lift in the morning. So it'd be like a 7 a.m. lift. I'll get all my classes done out of the LSB at 3:15 and then on to practice. So it's really not hard. It's just kind of managing your time and that communication between your professors, your deans, and your coaches.
And to add on to that, we actually build the schedule around not only our athletes, but we have people who commute and work. But we actually make sure that any of the major required classes are only scheduled at a time that is before 3:15 in the afternoon, right? And that gives us plenty of times to have multiple sections of the classes that they need, as well as to allow them to make their practices. And they are student athletes, so we work very closely with the coaches to make sure we understand what their needs are.
Right.
Is a dual major while also playing a sport doable? So Fernanda is an example of someone who's doing that, but I also have baseball players who are finance and accounting double majors. And just to back up on the accounting, our accounting majors do their semester-long internship in the spring of their junior year, versus the rest of our students who typically do their semester-long internship in the fall of their senior year. So baseball players have a double whammy in that their internship is in season and they need to get all their classes in. But we have worked with those baseball players to make sure that they've been able to get key internships with, top 4 accounting firms if that's where they want to go, and still keep their baseball in season. And a lot of them, actually, well, 2 of them recently completed their dual major in accounting and finance in 3.5 years, and went on to continue the 5th year MBA program shortly after that. So it's definitely doable. Every student is assigned an academic advisor, and that academic advisor will work with them to schedule the classes during the semesters that are most meaningful for them. Right, good, great. Anna and Alan, can you think of any other questions that you think they might want to know? And Luke?
So I don't think so. I think that one of the things that I hear, kind of regularly about the Endicott community is the idea of community, right? Kind of what does it look like to get plugged in? Is it specifically group oriented, or is it athlete oriented, or other things? I think one of the things that's really impressed me about the Endicott student body is the diversity of it. And what I mean by diversity of it is, I mean by what students find interesting and how they get plugged in with other fellow students from a common friendship standpoint. People that come to the Endicott College campus really will find other like-minded students on that campus that they can, become friends with over time. So whether you're an athlete, whether you're focused, heavily on academics, whether you're focused on even things like Professor McAlister runs a knitting club, right? So whether it's knitting or finance or you kind of fill in the blank, you will find other students on campus that will have like-minded interests as you. And I think that's something that's really interesting and fascinating about the Endicott campus.
If I can throw in one idea also is that the School of Business is actually the largest school on campus for number of students and majors. We're also the largest minor on campus. So our classes are populated with a lot of students from a lot of different backgrounds, all interested in the business world. And so it makes it a very lively environment. Also, our class sizes are small. So it really is pretty intimate. And a lot of people who are interested in business as majors and as minors. And so it's a very rich environment.
We do have another question, whether or not it's possible to be a double major with sports management and accounting. The answer is yes. And again, when you add that accounting to it, most accountants want to get 150 hours to be able to sit for the CPA, and that takes extra time. You'll also find sometimes with sports management and with the business core is that there'll be some overlap so that we have to actually extend that. So many students actually, there's many students in sports management. It's a great major, but you'll find that many students will manage double major in management and accounting because it's easier to coordinate the classroom time. And they'll actually end up doing their internships with key sites like the Celtics or the Bruins or the Red Sox or some of our other sports outfits, whether it's in New England or in Florida or California. So it's really up to you.
Right.
But yes, it is definitely possible. Okay. Well, good. I think we have a lot of exceeded our time. And for that, I apologize, but I wanted to make sure we answered all of your questions. I want to thank you for spending your accepted students time with us. And I want to thank our panelists here. Thank you all very much for volunteering your time. And I do look forward to seeing you in the fall. And please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions that are still unanswered at this time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.